Hello and welcome to my video all about how to make a snow globe. This was actually quite a weird project for me because I thought it'd be easy, but I seem to have made every mistake you could possibly make. So this video will show you how to make a snow globe, but also the mistakes to avoid. Here is a list of all the supplies that I used. Don't worry if you don't have all of these, some of them are not vital. And here you can see many of those supplies. For the container, I'm going to be using this plastic globe I got from Hobbycraft that has a screw-on base and a silicone plug. You can instead use a large clear jar, and in fact that might be a better idea because my container caused me many problems. Just make sure whatever you use is waterproof. I'll be using some white and green polymer clay, a roller, a ceramic tile, a cutting blade, lollipop sticks, some paper, some liquid clay, a bit of sandpaper, some scissors, a craft knife and a pencil, liquid glycerine, and some mini trees. Okay, so my design idea is a little clay house and a tree. To begin, you need to draw around the opening of your container onto paper, and in my case that's drawing around the silicone plug. Once you've done that, cut out this shape. This will be the template for the base. Mark where the tree will go, and that will show you how much space you'll have for the little clay house. Then draw out where you want the base of the house to be, and measure it. From here, you'll need to work out how many pieces you'll need to construct the house and how big these pieces will need to be. In my case, I'm going to need 2 pieces 22 by 40 millimeters for the ends of the house, which I'm going to shape by cutting off the corners. I'll also need 2 pieces 31 by 25 millimeters for the sides of the house and 2 pieces 31 by 20 millimeters for the roof. Once you've drawn them, you'll need to cut out these templates. Then take some polymer clay, in my case some white Fimo clay, and condition it by continually reshaping it to warm it up. This will make it nice and pliable. Then roll it out onto the ceramic tile. Then use a craft knife to cut around the paper templates. You'll also want to make a little chimney shape, although later on I decided not to use it. Then use the craft knife again to cut out windows in the front and the back. Then bake these pieces in the oven following the instructions on your clay. Leave them to cool. Next, make a green disc of clay the same size as the opening of your container. It doesn't have to be quite as thick as mine, but you want it to be sturdy. I then used an old pair of scissors to snip into the top of the clay to make a nice texture. Once the clay house pieces have cooled down, you can then construct the house using liquid clay as the glue. Then bake it again in your oven following the instructions on your liquid clay. Then leave the clay to cool. Next, flatten the texture of the green clay where the house will sit, and also press the mini tree onto the clay where it will be positioned. Condition more white clay and spread it all over the house so it fills in the joins and the gaps, and this will make the house look a lot neater. Then bake the house and the base at the same time in your oven. Once those had cooled down, I used 2-part epoxy glue, Araldite, to add yellow plastic inside the house, like so. This is just a small optional detail. I also used this glue to attach the house and the tree to the base. And then lastly, I used it to attach the clay base to the silicone plug. Then leave the glue to cure. And now we can put all of the pieces together. So first, fill about half of the container with water, preferably distilled. Then stir in about 1 tablespoon of liquid glycerine. The glycerine just makes the water a bit thicker, so that whatever you put in the water floats more slowly down to the ground. This just makes a nicer effect. I then made an error by adding some fake snow, which was far too lightweight and just floated at the top. So that's the first thing I'll say to avoid. When you pour the water away, make sure you pour it through some kind of paper filter like a coffee filter, and that will take out all of the glitter or fake snow because you don't want to put that down the drain. For the next try, I added the water, then the glycerine, some glitter, some tiny microbeads, and then I filled most of the container with water and put on the lid. This will make a mess because you want the container to be full of water. As you can see, it was at this point that the base became unattached to the plug. After this attempt, I tried scoring the silicone plug to roughen it up a bit, and I tried every kind of glue that I have, but nothing worked. So in the end, I had to drill through the silicone plug and the clay base and then screw it in place. So my advice is to not buy a container with a silicone plug because this seems to be the only way of attaching anything to it. And then on my last attempt, I added the water, then the microbeads and the glitter, the liquid glycerine, and then I stirred it in and added more water. And then I pushed on the base. If too much water splashes out, feel free to top it up. Then screw on the lid and shake. And that's it, the snow globe is complete. Or at least I thought it was finished until I looked at it the next day and realised the clay house had turned green, because the dye had come out of the mini tree and gone into the house. So that was another mistake I made, and therefore I would recommend not using any dyed trees or anything else that's got dye on it. Unless of course you cover it with some kind of clear sealant before you use it. So in conclusion, I recommend not using fake snow, not using this kind of container, and also not using any dyed ornaments. I really hope this video has helped you not make the same mistakes, and thank you very much for watching.